can I use ChatGPT to get two tones? One is going to be slow dancing in a burning room. Second one is going to be I don't trust myself with loving you. I can get pretty close to the slow dancing one, but I'm wondering if this technique will get me all the way there. So let's head in and we'll have a little look. Okay, so we have our new preset. I apologise for my dusty Helix. So the three options that it gave us for the amp were the Watt 100, the US Deluxe, which is down here somewhere, and the litigator. So I've been using the litigator a lot recently because it's just got a nice clean sound, a lot of headroom, and I feel like that would be the one that would get us the closest if I can find it. It's almost too many options. Litigator. Okay, so drive we want at 3.5. The bass we want at 4. Mid at 5. Treble at 6.5. The cab, we're not going to use a cab because we're plugged into the Boss Katana into the power amp, and I know that sounds pretty tasty as it is, so I'm just going to leave that. So we're going to have a compressor before the amp, and it's told me to use the LA Studio compressor. We've got our overdrive. We'll go in here somewhere. We'll try this before and after, but it's just told me to use the tube screamer. I'm surprised there's no Klon type of thing on there. Again, 2.5. Tone at 4.5. Then level at 6.5. Okay, then after the amp we're going to go, and it's told me to use a plate reverb here, so which I'm surprised about because you would expect spring, but so a little delay to make it a bit spicy. And then the last one we're going to try out, and we'll try this on and off, is the EQ at the end. Just a simple EQ. So low cut about 90, high cut to about 7. Seems like quite a lot, but we'll find out, won't we? Okay, and that's everything it's given me. So now we're going to try just going through and see how that sounds. Okay, so the only thing that I changed slightly to get me a little bit closer was I just put the EQ before the amp. So we'll just have a little play and see what we think. So, how about if we try that on some other MAYER stuff, because it's pretty classic. It's a nice clean sound, but it's just got, I don't know, something, a little twinge of bite from that tube screamer. So. play along to some MAYER songs, or use that to try and come up with something cool. I think maybe if I added a Klon style pedal, like the Minotaur, however you want to say it, onto there, that could get me a little bit closer in those lead parts. I'm going to try that now and we'll see how it sounds. Okay, so we put the Klon in for the Tube Screamer. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so we've had a little look for this I Don't Trust Myself tone. We're going to pop the amp quite far along, and it's annoying because I should have just kept the same ones on there, because the main bulk of the sound is pretty much the same thing. So I'll skip past this, us just setting this up, but most of them are pretty much the same. So we'll be back. So this time it has told me to put the Klon-y kind of sound in there, because this is a bit more beaten up, this sound. So then we're getting the Tube Screamer. Okay, see you in a sec. So a much shorter delay time on this one. So because we're trying to keep that sound quite tight, it's only using just a little bit. Okay. Sounds good. I don't know if it's all the way there. Maybe there's just something that's too sort of squawky. Right. Let's just see if I can roll that down a bit. If you were going out and you were doing a cover of this song, that would be, if you got a bass in there, some drums. Doesn't seem to react in exactly the same way as it does if you use the real one. But it's still there, it's still based on how hard you're picking Well done, ChatGPT, that's pretty close. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so my final thoughts on this is probably the best thing about it is that it gives you the right ingredients and then you can change that to your taste. I think it would be kind of a bit of a cheater's way if you went in and just said, alright, I'm going to use that exactly as it is, because it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to have your little flavour on it. Same as if you could have John Mayer's board, you wouldn't sound like John Mayer because you aren't John Mayer. Same as with this, it's not going to sound exactly the way that you want it straight away, because it might be a good sound, it might be a good tone, but it's not going to be the exact thing that's going to make you play in the best way. Whereas if you get in there, you play around with it a little bit, tweak some things, like I have there. I've just tweaked a couple of little settings and it's made it a lot more playable for the way that I play, if that makes sense. Yeah, so let me know if any of you guys have tried this sort of stuff out. It's pretty close, it puts you in the ballpark, which is exactly what you want. It's the same thing as if you found out, okay, I know Mayer uses these pedals, or I know this guitarist uses these pedals. If you buy the pedals on their own, it's not going to sound exactly the same or the same amp. You have to set it up in the right way and find the way that works for you. I think that these sounds are pretty good, but if I go to use them in a band setting, they might sound but on my own playing, they sound exactly how I'd want them to sound. So yeah, let me know what you think. Give a little like or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.